Oh, how about that? Here we go. You know what? I just found out something, Mr. Sirius. We didn't have her mic on. How's that? Yes. So fourth times is the charm. We can't hear you for some reason, Mr. Sirius. Why can't we hear you?
Can anyone hear anyone right now?
I don't know. I can hear myself. Get a producer. Thank you. Thank you, Intrigue Feline. Yes, I have one. Where is he? Why can't I hear him? I was just talking to you, Mr. Sirius. Now I can't hear you.
Oh, there I'm on now.
That was on your end. Why gonna mess with me like that, man?
I don't know.
That was just cold, man. That was just cold. You were messing with me. All right. So, can the outside chat hear us now? Can you guys hear us? Okay. Yeah. There we go. All right. So, wow. Again, working out these technical stuff because YouTube has changed all their crap over, and so it's made it much more difficult to do this kind of stuff. And this is why, you know what, Bullinator earns every penny that he gets because I pay him like $1,000 a show and stuff. So get those super chats in because he's expensive. Just kidding. But anyways, tonight, okay. So long story short, first of all, let me introduce who I got here. I got Mr. Sirius and Helios. You guys know them.
Everybody knows me.
Yeah, you got a really recognizable voice.
Chat. Oh, do I?
Yeah, you really do.
What about my face? Does that work?
I wouldn't talk about that.
Should I do this?
Yeah,
is that better?
Yeah. See, that's the Reds Rhetoric way of doing it.
Okay.
You got a face for radio.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I can make this work.
Just kidding. Failed engineering, no sound. Everybody else has sound, so that might be on your end this time. So first it was my fault, then it was Mr. Sirius's fault. Now it's actually Mania's fault because she has no sound, but we have sound. So, right?
I think we got at least like 95% sound.
Okay, 95% sound. That's all we need. So, anyways, yeah, we are going to be exposing Cheshire and Sweet Heathen because, as I said the first two times, they like to be exposed, and people want to see them exposed, and I certainly can't blame them for that, right? I mean, this is going to be the patriarchal version of the matriarchal hangout that they had, right? From a guy's point of view, because we let them speak the other day, and obviously look what happens. I mean, they went for 3 hours. You know, you give them 5 minutes and they take 3 hours, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
come on, we're guys. We can't last that long.
So so Christ Puncher says sound is good, and then Manya says can't hear anyone. That's on your end, I think, Manya. She can't hear me. So since somebody let Manya know that it might be on just her end, because everybody else can hear me fine, it seems.
I think.
Yeah. Somebody say, hey, Manya, turn your speakers on. Plug your earphones in. Step 1, is it on? Do you have it plugged in? Do you have power at your house? You know, frozen now.
Is everything dark except for your phone?
Yeah, exactly. Are you experiencing a blackout? All right. Anyway, so as you guys know, Cheshire Vic has a show on her channel called That Time of the Month, and every so often she does a halftime of the month. And they did a halftime of the month the other day, and basically they went over a lot of things that they had issues with when it came to some of the things going on in the community, especially with Jim Hall from Atheist Edge. And I'm not gonna play their video because that's gonna take too long. But Helios, myself, and Mr. Sirius all watched it, paid very close attention to it. Don't remember anything they said, but we played. I listened. But
it was hard to listen. I mean, they were all female. I
right?
don't know how I did it. 3 hours? Jeez, come on.
And 3 of them on camera we had to look at. They weren't wearing burqas or anything. I mean, Allah was not pleased.
No, I did turn my screen off.
I'm going to say this right now. I don't know these two. So when the inevitable wrath of Chesh and Sweet comes down, leave me out of that.
By the way, Cheshire's mom's watching, and I love her mom. Her mom could be my mom. I love her to death, even though we're about the same age. But yeah, she's like one of my favorite people. So hi, Mom. We love you. I'm not exposing your daughter too badly. Just gonna tell everybody what she got wrong. But no, in all seriously, I supported what they did wholeheartedly. They needed to say what they needed to say, and we're going to kind of touch on that, and we're going to kind of support them in that, because I think, unfortunately, this was one of the situations that got way out of hand because I think, unfortunately, Jim made it to go out of hand. And what they said was critical, and it's critical not just to them and not just to us, but it's actually as a community. when you have people that feel like they are not in a safe environment, I can't have that around. I have to have the ability to have the people to travel. People know that I travel with Sweet Heathen. I plan Cheshire to come down. We're going to go to all over the place. We're going to go to Texas again and California, and everybody's going to meet up and we're going to have fun. Now, if that happens and we have somebody that I think is potentially violent or even has remotely implied that they're going to physically harm somebody, I can't have that around because their families will worry. And unfortunately, when I told Jim this, I said, look, you're not understanding what they are saying to you, that they feel that they cannot be safe around you. This is not a matter of what you think. This is a matter of what they think. And at the very least, if somebody thinks that I'm intimidating to the point where I'm going to physically hurt them, I'm going to let them know, look, I would never let that happen. I mean, don't be scared of me. I do everything in my power to let them know I am somebody not to be feared of that way. By the way, people know that already because if anybody even knows anything about anything, Cheshire and Sweet would kill me. But anyways, I brought Mr. Sirius and Helios in because they were watching as well to kind of get their views. So I'm gonna start with Mr. Sirius. What when you were listening to that, I know it was difficult, but what would you think was the main thing that they were trying to say, and why Jim wasn't listening to it? Because that's I think the most unfortunate thing. Jim wasn't listening to their concerns, and gaslighting them.
Yeah, gaslighting was a big issue in there. I've been involved in this for a while now, apparently. I did 2 parts with Cheshire on a video about his Steve interview, and he didn't like that very much. He doesn't want to bring me up for some reason. I find it very interesting. He likes to bring up Cheshire, that she was saying bad things. He's not like I said. I said this yesterday in the chat. I've never blocked him. He has never once come to me and expressed any issues with anything I have said. I find that a little telling. But your question was, what do I think that they were trying to get across? Was that the question you were asking me?
Yeah, I mean, what's the main? So you can summarize to people that watch this later on. What's the main thing that they had to? Well, there's a lot of things, but what was the point that they were trying to make to Jim?
That he was out of line, and that they didn't feel comfortable being in his presence anymore. They wanted him to address that, and instead of doing that, he kind of doubled down on being the kind of person they didn't want to be around.
I would say even more than double down. I mean, I would go into triple and quadruple because. Okay, here's a couple things. Obviously, I don't like telling people said in private, and I get that, and I'm not going to I won't even throw Jim under the bus that way, right? When it comes to specific things that's said in private, but there's things that he said in public, which is just as horrific. He's telling Manya, hey, if Chester's ever in the same room with me, make sure she's at arm distance. A person who has been a victim of assault is going to take that as an implied threat, as it should be, right? Because Chester and I, if we go to a convention together or something like that. And Jim's there to do pictures or whatever, if it's some kind of a big event, there's going to be a problem, obviously, because she can't be around him. And so when he doubled down on that, and he said something along the lines of, look, you wouldn't like me when I'm mad kind of thing. That's not exactly what he said, obviously, but he said, look, I got 2 modes, my normal mode, and then I got, I'm going to rip your head off and shit down your windpipe mode. Again, not exactly what he said, but these are the things that he implied, right? I mean, he has a very violent temper, I guess. How is that not recognizable by him to at least say, look, yes, I shouldn't have threatened you like that, even though if it was implied, and even though if I didn't mean it like that. By the way, he did mean it like that. He wasn't just saying he was going to pop smoke and leave. He meant it exactly the way it sounded. I'm convinced of that. And I know that they are convinced of that.
The worst part is that he refuses to take any onus in what happened at all. He blames his entire outburst on Cheshire like he has no control over himself. Like she was the puppet master, and because she acted a certain way, he was totally okay to act a certain way. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't care if somebody was jumping down my throat. If I was to have acted like him, I would have expected you, Steve, to never let me on that channel again.
Yeah,
Ever.
Okay. Again, I'm going to be just as fair and critical as I expect them to be, right, over on halftime of the month or full time that time of the month, even though this was halftime. But I mean, yeah, people may be able to say at worst Chester came in a little aggressive. I don't think she'd even probably argue against that. I think there's probably go, okay, at least maybe she will. But the word hostile will get thrown around. And here's the thing. Hostile means different things to different people. Can hostile mean aggressive? Yes. But do I think it should be used that way right now? No. Because when a Marine who has 4 black belts says a 4'11" woman is hostile, I have a really distinct separation of what that would entail for hostilities, right? I mean, I think that was a really inappropriate way of describing the situation because there's nothing hostile about it. Now, people can say, well, look, you go into discussions all the time and you debate, and those are hostile debates. Well, yeah, in the loosest sense of the term hostile, that means you're adversarial, right? And if person wants to say, yes, was Cheshire a little adversarial? Yes, she was. I'm sorry, Cheshire, you were a little adversarial. But were you hostile? No, of course not. And so that's the problem. And I think Jim failed to realize that distinction, right?
Well, I mean, I don't even. See, here's another contention I have with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with being adversarial.
I don't either.
Me and Cheshire were going over some of the things that he had said. We were trying to, because he was getting way defensive over things. As far as I'm concerned, if anything, like, indicates that hostility, I guess, in his definition of it, is almost at his second thing he sent Cheshire, like, over the phone. If anything, like, he was starting crap then. So for her to come in and act the way she was, it was in response.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah, yeah.
It wasn't. She didn't come in out of the blue and act a certain way. If she hadn't have acted adversarial, that would have been weird. She acted exactly, I think, as she should have. I spent the whole day. We were with her the whole day, and I was feeling emotionally exactly the same. Given what she saw, I don't see anything wrong with anything that she did. The only thing that I saw that was just completely out of hand was his reaction when she read something that Reds said.
Well, yeah, but she was right on that. And again, I didn't know the situation. And let me clarify, because this goes back to the video I had with Jim. I didn't know the full situation, right? Contrary to popular belief, I'm not like involved in everything Cheshire does. I know people think that I am, but I'm not. I'm not privy to everything. I'm not privy. I'm not privy to everything she does. Privy may be a different thing, but I don't sit in her DMs, right? So when she had said that Jim had invited himself to come on her show, and she's like, well, you're just a liar. I was like, look, dial it back again. Because once you start using the L word, the dynamics change, right? And we all know this from our discussions. And that's why I was like, just dial it back a little bit. Show what you got to show, and then yes, you lied. And she was right on that. I read the DM. She did show the DM. Everybody knows by now her DMs are public. You send her something, it will be made public. And by the way, he gave permission to show these DMs, which had his phone number in it, right? Now, my DMs are private. People know that, although I will make exceptions when I need to. It's very minimal. Right now, the only ones I've shown, I think, are Bullinators and Kyle's, and I got permission from Bull. So, I mean, I got permission to get permission, right? But, I mean, Kyle showed mine. So, but I try not to, but I will be showing more next month. I think I have no choice in certain things, but her policy is if you send her something, then boom. And so she did show. He said, I'll go on your show. I want to come on your show, or whatever the wording was. He said, I'll go on your show. And she said, look, you said come on. And he's like, okay, you were right. Now, does that constitute lying? I'm not going to weigh in on that, because I'd still like to give principal charity that maybe he just didn't remember. I know Jim well enough to know he's pretty forgetful, right? But he didn't apologize. I don't think he really apologized too much for it, right? It seemed to me like he apologized too much, but I don't know.
I've got an issue with that when it comes to Jim, too. I'm not sure exactly how much of his forgetfulness is self-inflicted. And I think you know what I'm talking about. I'll say one thing, and we don't have to get into a thing, but somebody with a trigger that loose should never be around alcohol. And I'll leave it at that. I think forgetfulness, and when it comes to him, his fault, 100%. And that's just where I lie on it. I don't got any proof of that, but he bugs me. Like, everything about him bugs me. I've seen people, I don't know, I look at him, and it reminds me of people that I've known in the past, like family members and stuff. And
it's unfortunate because here's the thing: Sweet and I visited him, right? And Jim is was a friend. I mean, I considered him like a brother to me. This is not easy for me, right? I mean, I have to make a rational, logical decision between the people that I love, the people that I care about, the people that I have dealings with, and somebody who is clearly not understanding that his verbiage, his aggressiveness has caused harm to them. Now, this is not taking away from anything about him having PTSD. Nobody should ever use PTSD as a weapon against somebody. It's a horrific thing. I mean, Sweet has it. Cheshire probably has a little bit of it. I know a lot of people that have PTSD, right? And this is not a slight against people with PTSD. But he has to recognize that other people have it as well. And when you say to somebody, "Look, I can't be in the same room with you because I'm going to smash your head against the wall, or I'm not going to be held accountable for my actions, or I'm going to harm you. I'm going to make you drink out of a straw," which he did say. I would do that. He would do that. These are posturings of aggressiveness that somebody who has been a victim of assault from the hands of a man is going to take very seriously, as well as they should, right?
And he also refuses to take any ownership of his own actions. He blamed Cheshire for the way he reacted. So not only would he do that to you, but he probably would blame you after putting you in the hospital.
Yeah, and by the way, Chester points out he was looking at the DMs when he said this, and I was like, yeah, and that's a fair point. He was looking at the DMs, but he did recognize, he did recognize eventually, but it was just like, dude, come on. Helios, what do you got to add to it?
It's also something you should take seriously from someone who's saying that immediately after saying, "I know all of these forms of karate, and I'm a black belt in this, and I'm a former Marine with training. I can kill you with my bare hands."
Yeah, you don't want to make me angry because I'll make you drink out of a straw.
Yeah, if you're first going to emphasize just how lethal you are with your hands right before threatening anyone, not just a woman, but anyone, that's something that should be taken seriously.
Yeah, look at me, myself. I can handle my own. I'm not saying that I could take Jim in a fight, but I do know his weak points. But I certainly would defend myself. But I'm not intimidated by Jim physically. I've been in the same room with him. I'm not scared. I wouldn't even be scared to be in a room with him now. But that's nothing to do with me. They are scared to be in the same room with him, and rightfully so. And I would not allow them to be. Not that I give them permission or not, but I'm saying that I would do everything to talk them out of it. Right? Past chat, people are like, "Oh, like Steve controls these women," Good luck with that. But I would seriously tell them, don't hang around with him. I mean, you're taking chances unnecessarily. And plus, even if it's not the case, even if Jim would never physically actually do anything to harm anybody, which right now I'm not positive of, there's always that chance, and worse, it's always an implied threat. It's always going to be there in the back of their heads because they have been victims of of assault and have PTSD. That's what he failed to realize, and that's why people have been trying to tell him, dude, this is where you need to man up and say, look, I done wrong. I mean, it's so funny. I'm going to go for a minute rant here, so I apologize, but hey, it's what I do. He'll sit there, and again, I want to make it very clear. Nobody cared that he had Kyle on. Let me repeat this 5,000 freaking times so people get it through their heads. Nobody cared. None of us said don't have him on. None of us we gave him some feedback because he asked for it, but we didn't care. We didn't hold that against him in any way, shape, or form. So anybody who's saying otherwise, they're just a damn liar because that never happened. But when he had Kyle on, he was supposed to do it a certain way, which he didn't do. He made promises to me, made promises to Sweet. He didn't do. But he sat there and he literally sucked him off. I mean, for like 15 minutes, just singing his praises, apologizing profusely. He prostrated himself and genuflexed himself to the point where I thought he was going to have an anal prolapse. Okay? It was ridiculous. And then he did the same thing to Jimmy Snow, right? Mr. Atheist. He's sucking up to him, sucking up to Shannon Q, sucking up to anybody that he has seemingly has had some kind of he has harmed or he's offended by his memes or something, right? That he's literally asking for forgiveness of his sins, right? Yet here he is with two people, one of which he called a friend who visited him, Sweet Heathen, somebody he knows that I love very, very, very much, and I will do whatever it takes to keep her in my life. And that means if it's throwing away everything I have, yeah, I pretty much will, right? I mean, this is somebody who I care about immensely. Just the same way I care about her immensely. And people are saying, well, yeah, Steve's doing all this stuff for women. You know what? It's doing it for people that I love and I care about because they've given me the same respect. And I'm going to be that kind of person to give it back to them and be there for them as I have promised them that I will, especially, with Sweet Heathen, obviously. And he couldn't recognize the harm that he caused her, and he's going to make me to try to decide between her and him? That's a no freaking brainer, people. but he, yeah. Why would? So my question to you guys is, as two men here, why would he, just basically be sucking off my enemies, right, and people that I don't like Kyle, and yet he won't even apologize for somebody like Sweet, who there was a transgression there, where he clearly harmed her. Somebody he knows in real life and says, has confided in him and say, look, I've had this happen to me. It sucks. I'm scared of these things happen again. And he knows about these things, and he did it anyways. He did exactly what she told him other people have done to her. So, I mean, what do you guys think of that? That's my rant. It's just I don't get it. Why would he be so asking for forgiveness for them for memes, but not for the fact that he threatened to harm a woman?
And here's my guess. My guess is that Jim actually never thinks that he's actually in the wrong. I don't think he thought he was in the wrong for the memes. I think he was literally just sucking Kyle off to suck Kyle off. I wonder if he could taste the flavor of the non-sect community, because Kyle was fucking us for a while, and I don't know if he could taste that on Kyle or not, but I think that was more what it was about than anything. He didn't apologize to Kyle because he was sorry for anything.
Yeah, well, it's funny because he said the memes. He still stood by the memes. I mean, I'm convinced Jim still believes that we're all in the right. I mean, there's no way that he thinks Kyle did anything right. I'm convinced of that, and I will argue that point. Okay, I'm happy to do so because, contrary to what people may think about all this, Jim has been on our side as far as saying that Kyle is wrong. But actions speak louder than words. I don't know why you think you can't say, well, yeah, you're wrong, but you know what? I'm not going to ask you any difficult questions. I'm just going to apologize profusely for having memes, which, by the way, I still think are true, which he said. So we were even mad about that much, right? We let it go. We're like, whatever, it happens. Do a better shot next time. At least I didn't concern myself with it. It wasn't like I was mad at Jim for it by any means.
Well, you gotta remember Jim's wordage on this. He says the phrase, "Don't make me mad," and I think that's a term that a lot of abuse victims probably have heard a million times.
Right. I mean, right. I mean, how many women have been married to men that say, "Hey, you know what? It was your fault because you made me mad. Therefore, when I struck you, you have nobody to blame but yourself."
And that's exactly what he said. And then he says later, he's like, "Oh well, they said I sound like an abuser husband or whatever." Nope, that's not even close or something. But I mean, can you prove that their claim has no merit, or are you just going to claim their claim has no merit?
So
I'll read this one for you.
Yeah, please do.
The Boy of Ink. I don't know what that currency is. What is that? Is that pound?
I think that's euro.
Euro? Gosh, I'm bad. Euro, $2, €2. In time, we're going to have Kyle on. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we've already discussed this, and yeah, that's In Time can have anybody they want on. Again, we don't care who people have on. We're not a group to say you shouldn't platform these people. I mean, I don't give a shit who you platform. I do care about if you like really support somebody, right? If somebody has somebody on that I don't like, whatever. But if they actively support this channel, if a person's supporting trolls, people that have harmed people that I care about, people that are supporting the actual people that have harmed people that have harmed Sweet, people that have harmed even Nick Suter, people that have harmed Cheshire, people that have harmed Reds, anybody who's actively supporting them, not just having them on their channel, then yes, I will not be associated with those channels, right? I cannot be associated with those channels. I'm not saying Jim's done this, right? I'm not putting or In Time by any means, right? Because I like In Time, but just because they have Kyle on makes no difference to me. I have no opinion either way on it. It's like, okay, do your thing, right? So when people say, well, Steve doesn't want these people on, I have no control of the fuck Nick has on his channel or Jim has on his channel or anybody else has on their channel, even Cheshire. Nobody tells me who I have on my channel. I'll have who I want, when I want, why I want, and it's all because it's my channel. And I give the same consideration to anybody else, right? I will never tell anybody what they can and cannot have on, which makes it all the more ridiculous when people say, Steve's sending videos to certain people to put up, and Steve's telling them what to say and on. And I'm like, who the fuck has all time for that? That has never happened. Not once. So, yeah, I don't have an issue with it. It's like, okay, do your thing. Yeah. I just hope he does a better job than Jim did, because Jim didn't ask any questions.
No kidding. If Jim would have made a video of these are the questions I'm going to ask Kyle, I think me and Shesh still would have had a field day with that video. But then he went ahead and just did it. and sucked Kyle off, and that made it a little worse. But
Yeah.
Jim asked questions of Kyle. The only problem is he softballed him more than Fox News softballs Trump.
Well, that's where the problem. There was a little problem because Sweet and I had told him. He had asked us some questions. We told him some stuff, and he gave us assurities. Jim gave us assurities. I am not going to softball. Okay, and I'm like, okay, well, it's still your channel. Hardball, softball, do what the hell you want. My complaint was, don't lie to me and Cheshire. Lie to me as Sweet and tell us that you're not going to do a softball, and then what do? Do a softball, and then. You don't even acknowledge it till weeks later, and then when you do, it's just like, yeah, I wish I would have done this different. Then the questions, he had a video with Nick, which, of course, the ladies at Halftime of the Month were reviewing. It's in the video description. And Nick didn't know what was going on. I can't really fault him for that. He didn't know too much. He's been sick. But Jim, to sit there and say, I should have asked better questions, and he says, I should have asked him, well, do you have a lawyer? We already know he doesn't have a lawyer. What the hell kind of dumb question is that? He's lied about that from day one. He's admitted he lied about that and still doesn't have one. And by the way, it wouldn't do much good if he did now anyways. But, whatever. What the hell kind of question is that where we already know the answer? That's still a softball question, dude. That's like saying, hey, did you put your pants on this morning? Who the fuck cares?
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned personally, there was somebody who was saying something about Chick-fil-A or something. Like, I would rather people, I won't eat there. I don't even know what it tastes like. I've never eaten there, so I don't even know what I'm missing out on. Smells wonderful, though.
I've never had Chick-fil-A either.
But for personal reasons, I wouldn't go there. But if somebody else went there, I'd rather they didn't. But if they did, I'm not going to hold that against them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same thing.
Payne points out in the live chat, and he's right. This was not an interview. And this is what Cheshire rightfully told him. Look, you have in your title, this is a candid interview. First of all, it wasn't candid. It was edited. Second of all, it wasn't an interview. It was a love fest. It was a publicity event, as Robert Payne in the live chat says. And he's exactly right. And again, we were not mad about that. I can tell you right now, we were not mad. We were disappointed, but we were not mad about it. But we're like, okay, we thought you'd do a better job. And I think he recognized that, but he still, when he was going to do the second one, still was going to ask stupid questions. But I will bring up something real quick to move it on a little bit. So in the live chat, when we were watching this the other day, and I have this guy hidden, Tony Design. I have him hidden, and I don't know why mods can't see him. So if you ever see Tony Designs come by, just block him outright. Just done. But I can't do it because I have him hidden, which is weird from YouTube. Why does, as a mod, why can't you see everybody in the live chat? I don't know why they do that. I don't know if there's a new change, because I thought before you could see anybody. They can see you, because if you go into a chat that you have somebody blocked, it'll say, this live chat has a moderator that you've blocked, that blah, blah, blah. So you can see them, but they can't see you?
There's two different chats now. There's a top chat and a live chat. Does that make a difference? I
don't know. I have mine set for live chat, so maybe I don't know. Well, we'll check it out, right? But anyways, during the show the other day, Halftime of the Month, Tony Designs came by. Now, this is a guy that moderates for Nick in time. And this is the guy that I am convinced helped destroy the Non Sequitur show by his lack of moderation in the live chat, by deleting people that were friends of the show, allies of the show, whether he claims whether he did or not. I don't watch every time he deleted somebody, but he was actively shitting on Non Sequitur show. He still does it today. Actively shits on Non Sequitur show, right? I can't have that around. Nick wants that around. That's his choice. But he will stick up for Tony Designs, right? Even though he knows Tony Designs has literally harmed the Non Sequitur show, harmed me, harmed Sweet, harmed Chess, harmed Ilya Moon. Right? I mean, he's literally harassing Ilya Moon in the live chats. He blocked Chess from a live chat in modern day debates. James manned up, and he removed him as a mod because of that. So we don't really want to be around in the live chat for modern day to Nick in time, because of the way he has for his moderators. Because we're not going to be around people that have harmed us and has harmed the things that we have worked on. That's Nick's choice. Again. But when Tony Designs, who Nick has stood up for and says, oh, he's a righteous person, blah, 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 he's great for the show, and then he goes to Cheshire's video just to troll Ilya Moon or Chesh. By the way, he was trolling Ilya Moon in the modern day debate the other day. He was when I had a debate with Snake. He was in the live chat trolling her. So here's a guy that literally is trolling that Nick is supporting, which he's allowed to do, but is evidence that he's trolling when he goes over to Cheshire's video just to cause contention. And they spoke up about that. They said they weren't going to talk much about it, but Tony came over. They decided to, and Sweet rightfully called him out on it. So this is what a ethical moderator for End Time does, right? He comes over and harasses us, a group of women trying to express themselves about somebody feelings of being in danger with somebody who's threatening them. This is what a ethical moderator does, right? And she was right on the money with that. Were you there for that? Did you watch that part? Either of you?
I saw it.
Okay.
I was very, very close to banning him. Manya beat me to it by like 2 seconds.
Manya did. I saw that because it says Manya has hidden somebody you've blocked or something, or you've hidden.
I was that close.
It says failed an engineer removed, some of you have hidden or something like that, if I remember. So I couldn't do it, so I'm glad that she did. But yeah, he's been on before. He's been in the live chat before. So yeah, like I said, I think that's just indicative of what we mean by these people that have actively trying to harm people. Tony Designs is somebody who's actively trying to harm people. He has actively harmed the Non Sequitur Show. He's actively harmed the people that like the Non Sequitur Show. He trolls. And again, this is Nick Suter's right to have him as a mod. Nobody cares, right? It doesn't mean I don't watch it in time. It doesn't mean I don't care about Nick. It just means that we will never be in his live chat, right? We can't. It means we can't really support the show that much because we don't want people coming over to deal with somebody who's actively harmed us, who will actively go over to Cheshire's thing and do this, right? So that's where we stand. And this is when I posted all that thing with Nick. There are some things that we're working on to deal with Nick on. It's about that kind of stuff, right? I mean, I love Nick, right? I really do. And when I go to Boston, I'm going to be hanging out with him and Sweet. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to be in the Lynn Time live chat doing anything because, again, we're not going to be around that kind of stuff. That's our choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
No big deal. Okay, live and love. But nobody's ever told Nick what to do. I've never said you have to get rid of him. I've never said you can't have this person on. Anybody who ever tells you that I have any control over Nick's channel, Nick and I will both tell you are lying. You are absolutely lying. I had nothing to do with Ansgard leaving. Absolutely nothing. I know their production manager, right? She will testify to this. I have zero influence on that show. Zero. Absolutely none. And so when you see somebody says, well, Steve, thinks he, can tell people who they can and cannot have on, show me a shredded evidence for that because you know what? You don't have any. I guarantee you don't. Okay. Sorry, we got a live chat. Super chat.
Failed in engineering with New Zealand $2. Thank you very much. V hid him on live chat before he could cause any problems. Not sure I meant to start that with V.
I know. She did. I saw it come up failing engineering before it hit him. So. Oh, my mom said let the other men talk. Okay.
Oh. What was I saying?
I don't know. Hey, go ahead, take it. Don't do what I just did before. I gave somebody the floor on the debate, and they just weren't saying anything, so I had to continue talking. And then people were like, "Steve won't shut up." So you have the floor. I'm going to mute. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, but we're talking about Tony Designs. What were we talking about before that? I want to get back on the regular topic. Oh, well, crap. Okay, well then I guess I'll just move the topic along however I feel. Well, I'm trying to remember the video. Oh God, I'm put on the spot.
Think of that. I'll put on my 2 cents here.
Okay, go ahead.
It's perfectly fine for people to have mods and people that we don't agree with, and I'd even say it's fine for them to have people who actively oppose us. It's just don't expect us then to be supporting you if those are the people you choose to associate with. If people choose to associate with, let's just use Vaping Beta, for example. That's fine. That's their right. They can have him and talk to him and do whatever they want with him. They just won't be around us. We're not going to tell you who you can and cannot have. Don't tell us who we can and cannot have either. And honestly, you don't have the right to tell us if we're offended that you have someone. Because if you have someone who's actively harassing one of our people, and we're sticking up for that person, that's between us and that mob, not between anyone else.
Well, I mean, I don't think we can tell anybody else like who they can have on and or not have on, but they also at the same time can't tell us that we can't react to who they have on. Just because we don't like a decision somebody made, and just because we voice our opinion about it, doesn't mean we're trying to police YouTube or something. We're allowed to have opinions, and we're allowed to say what they are.
Yeah, let me ask you this. This whole cancel culture thing, right? I mean, there have been active trolls that have been trying to cancel culture my channel for years. They even threatened my Patreon for no reason. Obviously, Patreon doesn't give anything about this because I have done nothing in violation of TOS ever. I have no community strikes. I've never had a successful content strike. I know the rules. I've read the rules many times. And so there are active people out there trying to shut my channel down. This is true. This is not paranoia. This is actively the case. I have screenshots galore on this. And yet we never go around telling people shut down a channel. We don't mass flag channels. I've never said go after somebody's Patreon. Okay, the only time I've ever even thought about that was with the NFIB, that hate group that had what is it, the National Fundamental Baptist whatever. That was a whole different ballgame, right?
Yeah, New Fundamental International Baptist or something like that. Yeah,
whole different ballgame, right? But as far as content creators, I've never actually ever said you've got to go shut this channel down, right? So they're the ones doing the cancel culture. And then trying to project it on other people, saying that we tell people who they can have and cannot have on, which has never happened.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, why would we even want to cancel people? I mean, they could effectively become a bit more content for like people we know's channels, like flat earthers. We don't want to cancel them because then what's Team and Red's going to do half the time?
Well, okay, I'm going to put a little pushback on it. I don't believe in canceling channels, but I do think YouTube should have some consideration for channels that actively cause harm, and I'm going to put flat Earth channels in that only because they're educationally harmful. But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that we go out and do it. But if YouTube shuts them down, I'm not going to care. I would be like, go for it.
Yeah, that's their platform. They're the one paying for the servers to be up, so you got to play by the rules, no matter how stupid they are.
Super chat.
Okay, Keno Browner for $10, 10 American dollars.
She's American. She used to live next to me.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, I've known her for 10 years. It's my hometown.
Interesting. Hmm? I love and respect all of you. Steve McRae, you were a good mentor, and I'm still learning.
Thank you, Keno. Yeah, Keno used to come visit me at work. I used to ride the bus with her. So she could tell you I am in real life exactly that I am now. I'm not somebody that's different than what you see. I do know people in real life. But yeah, thank you for that, Keno. Helios, what else you got for us?
That you know people.
I guess Chesner's mom really likes your voice, Helios, and she wants to hear it more.
Okay, I guess I'll go with that. As far as... I'm going to leave it there on the whole people supporting those who troll us, because that's kind of a limited streak to begin with. It's... Yeah, people are dicks, and some people are going to like other people who are dicks to us, and there's nothing we can do about that. Move on.
Well, as far as I'm... Oh, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, this is a fairly good time to interject if you need to.
All right, as far as Tony's concerned, Nick Suter, if he wants to have him on the show and he does a great job, great. I'm happy for him. But if Tony stabs him in the back, it's not like he wasn't warned.
Oh, yeah.
And
yeah, we've told him.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah, no, definitely don't expect sympathy for us if you decide to associate with a known troll and then that troll stabs you.
Yeah, it's not just him. I mean, there are other content creators that I've either had issue with or in some ways, offended because, God forbid, they ever try to actually attack my arguments rather than attacking me. That have supported very known trolls, and even trolls of Nick. There are content creators that have actually harmed Nick. And we stood up for Nick. We were against those content creators, and other content creators support them. They love their channel. Oh, you guys are great. You guys are trolling Steve and that crew over there. And these are content creators I've had on my show that I helped get started, some of them. And they still are like, oh, hey, you know what? As long as you're, trolling Steve and his friends and harming them and emailing, Steve's friends' parents and their families, and you're sending them death threats, it's all good. And that's what they do. Every single one of these people that have trolled us, and the content creators that are supporting them, have been harming people in real life, and they don't give a shit. Because these people have been sending death threats. These people have been messaging Sweet Heathen's parents and family, and trying to actively dissuade her from engaging with the community. These people are the people that some content creators that have been on this very show have actively supported, and they don't care. Because, all that matters to them is Steve has a dumb argument about atheism. Although they don't understand it, they never address it, and they make it about definitions, which is not. That's what it all boils down to. Because they, as an atheist community, will not accept the fact that I'm right, they're wrong, and they can't get the fuck over it. They won't. And they've got to, Steve's arguing definitions. Bullshit. You hear the D word, you know they're an idiot. You know they have no idea what the fuck they're talking about, and that's not what the hell the discussion's about.
Well, they're parroting Matt
Dillahunty
on that. Like, they don't even know. They have no idea.
Matt doesn't even know the fucking arguments. He has no fucking idea. And by the way, I got David Silverman on money. So when people say, oh, you're just clout chasing Matt, fuck, who the hell's Matt? Matt's nobody, man. I don't give a shit if Matt dresses me or not. I got David Silverman on money, and I've got other people much more prevalent in the atheist community that I know that I'm friends with than Matt. And by the way, Matt does not like Dave.
Well, probably, yeah. They disagree. I guess he wouldn't, right?
Well, Dave had sex with his wife, and they don't get along too well.
I'm going to put this out here right now. I don't get why people like Matt. It boggles my mind because he's not nearly as clever as everyone seems to think he is.
He talks well.
When you watch him and you actually boil down what he's saying to, just the words and the meanings, and, remove all of the fancy stuff and how he tries to mislead you, it's very basic, and half the time it's wrong.
Oh no, you're not the only one that. Look, I got people out there all the time. I got an admin. I was just recently removed from the Atheist Experience Facebook page. Long story. Nothing. I don't hold them. I don't bother by it. But I still have the philosophical page that I'm on. But one of the admins, she's supported me for 4 years. She's like, Dave, you're right about all this stuff. They can't say it because it harms their image, but she knows because she's not an idiot, right?
Or she's looked into it.
And she's looked into it. Oh, well, she changed her position years ago. She thought I was wrong too, but she was objective, and she was like, oh, Steve, you are right about this stuff. No shit.
Some people don't care, and I think Matt gives, like I said this before, but Matt gives people the ability to be lazy about stuff. And before we go on, failed in engineering, New Zealand $5. Quoting Cheshire Vic, what is the point of criticizing someone to cancel them? The point of criticism is improvement.
In a lot of cases, like right now, I would like Jim to improve. Right? I mean, this is not contrary to what Chesh Sweet or any of them think about this. This is my view. I'm just not going to shit on Jim for the sake of shitting on him. What the hell's the point of that? Right? The point of addressing all this is to point out to Jim the harm that he caused. And after we told him there are people in the community that have harmed me and my friends and people that I love, and they've told him they've harmed them, they've harmed me. My friends care about me, I care about them. And he didn't get that. That's what we're trying to address. That's the improvement aspect, right? We're hoping that he improves on this.
I mean, I hope he doesn't think that apologizing is some kind of like weakness or something, especially doing it publicly.
Dude, did you see him grovel to Kyle? Come on. He's not against apologizing.
I mean, I'm not either. You know that.
Hey, I got Canadians that have slighted me, and they'll apologize if they look at you cross-eyed, but they fucked me over, and they want to apologize in public. I have a couple people apologize in private, but as people say, look, a public offense should be apologized in publicly, but they won't do it. They're like, we're not going to publicly apologize to you because they're afraid if they do, people are like, oh, they're just sucking up to Steve. They're worried about their fucking image. I'm not. The reason being is if you are ethical and you do the right things, You know what? Your image stands on itself, right? And my people, my friends, my people, they're going to use it against me. My friends and the people I care about, they know this. So, yeah, I mean, it's just, it boggles my mind that we even have to do this. I mean, it's like so self-evident what Jim did to harm people, and that he supported people that have harmed us, and other people are supporting people that harmed us. And it doesn't matter, all because, hey, look, as long as you're fucking Steve in the ass, we'll look past any transgression you do, any shitty thing you do, lie, steal, cheat, screw out of tens of thousands of dollars, fuck over his friends, send death threats. It doesn't matter. As long as you're fucking Steve in the ass, we're going to support you. And that's what they do.
It seems like the natural growth of a YouTube channel in this community is get started by Steve.
Get started by
Steve.
Steve.
Profit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the road to success, right? And what's funny is they don't really get much traction out of it. It's a whole bunch of bigger names than me, obviously. Why are they using my name? It's like they're going to get, 100 views? They can get 1,000 views if they talk about Onision.
I think that people, like, this is something I was talking to somebody with before. I'm not sure how many, like, I don't want to talk about things in my DMs, but people take advantage of other people's good nature. And that doesn't mean that I want you to, like, become, like, jaded and hard and not trusting people. Like, that's the complete opposite. Assholes are out there, and we'll call them out for being assholes. That is a process that this thing needs to continue. But, Steve, I don't think you should change your good-naturedness.
I have
That
a little
would be
bit.
The worst.
I'm not going to front. I've gotten a little more hard. I'm not going to be doing charitable events for people. I'm not going to be doing fundraisers. I'm going to be donating. We'll be addressing Leslie Bass maybe in the next couple of weeks because she has actively tried to imply through guilt by implication that I've stolen from her, which has never happened. Her husband was doing it as well, which was very surprising to me because I thought we were on good terms. She did a private Patreon hangout where she just like 0.001% of her subs to try to convince them that I was the bad guy, that I somehow kept $500 from her and all this other stuff, and she was playing naive. Oh no, I have receipts for all this stuff. And that was out of the kindness of my heart to do that fundraiser for her. And by the way, she's like saying, hey, well, it wasn't out Steve's pocket. I paid about $45 in taxes on that shit. Don't tell me I didn't give anything to that fundraiser. And people are like, well, you did it only because you were trying to, shut down for your Katie Jerry Paulson's channel and you hated her. No, that wasn't the fucking reason. Anybody who says that, be that true or not that I dislike her, whatever. But was that the reason? No. The reason was, and I'm going to make this very clear, the reason why we had that fundraiser was I didn't want somebody who I still believe to this day, and I know for a fact, is a despicable, horrible human being that could think that they can get away with trying to mass flag a channel to shut it down. Not that she succeeded, not that she had anything to do with the actual reason why Leslie Bass's channel was shut down, but she attempted to. That is a fact. That is a material fact. I can demonstrate that fact. That is the reason why I had it. I don't want bullies to win. I thought Leslie Bass was a good person, and I wanted her not to feel like bullies were going to be able to threaten her. Not that she was shut down by that, but threaten her. That is why I did it. It was a altruistic thing. Not, and people say, well, it still, harms Katie and blah, blah. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to deny there's not tertiary things, but it still was overall. I did it because I thought it was the right thing to do. And anybody who criticizes me for that, they're welcome to. But I'll tell you right now, you can fuck the fuck off.
I mean, even it doesn't matter how
6 kids got Christmas presents out of it.
Right. I mean, you felt bad for somebody. I feel bad for people, and I come out and I'll talk to them directly. I can't. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too soft or something. I just can't let anybody.
We're all soft. You're a soft guy. Helios is pretty soft. Cheshire's soft. Yeah, right. Oh God. She's our yin to our yang.
I'm only soft to those who deserve my softness. That's something I'm going to put out there right now. I think that if you deserve some sort of pity, I'll give that to you. But if you brought that on yourself, F off.
Yeah, not the same way anymore. I am not as empathetic as I once was. The Schadenfreude is strong. There are people that I want to see quote their comeuppance because they deserve it because they're shitty fucking humans. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to bring this full circle, I'm afraid that the Jim situation might cause that to happen to the people that he's affected here. That, they might feel like they can't trust people and maybe be less trustful or something like that in the future. I think he caused more harm than he could ever realize.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to bring that up.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And this is what they were pointing out on the halftime of the month, and rightfully so. They had their voices, and they needed to speak them. And it's really a shame that we even have to do this. It's a really shame that they had to do it. No offense, that video never needed to be done, right? Or shouldn't have been needed to be done, I should say. Neither should this video. People are going to be like saying, well, you're just doing this for drama. Fuck that bullshit. I'm tired of that. That shit, it's just, that's them spinning stuff. And look, I'm going to make it very clear to all my trolls and haters. If you want to live for the rest of your life in my shadow, knock yourself out. 5 years from now, you're going to be doing the same fucking shit. I make a video and you spend 3 hours talking about it to get 100 views. Good job on that. It doesn't have any effect on me because 5 years from now, I'll still be talking to the people that I care about and I love. And that's all that what matters to me because I will do what it takes to keep certain people in my life. One of which is damn sure Sweet Heathen. And if Jim is going to fuck that up by gaslighting her and not making her feel comfortable, I will 1,000% stick by my choice to remove Jim and keep Sweet Heathen. Because she means more to me than anybody else on the planet next to my daughter right now. And people, if they don't understand that, I don't give a shit. They can remove their sub, they can remove their Patreon, they can remove their membership. Go with God. Because right now, Sweet Heathen means more to me that I have the ability to be, call her and talk to her and be her friend and know that she cares and loves about me. That to me is greater than any fucking Patreon, any fucking membership, any fucking sub, or any image that I have on the internet. And I'm not going to be like Jim. I'm not going to be like any of these suck-ups to Matt Dillahunty or these content creators. They go, oh, look, this person put a hate video off from Steve. I'm going to stroke, this content creator going, oh, you're anally fuck Steve. When they didn't point out anything that I did wrong or said anything that I did wrong. They make stuff up because they're worried about their image, right? Because they're going to suck up to Matt Dillahunty because they think he has some clout to give them rather than address whether Matt Dillahunty happens to be right or wrong or not. Because that's irrelevant, right? Super chat.
Okay, failed engineering. The LB, what's that? I'm bad with names. What who are you referring to?
KJ.
I know Katie Joy is the KJ, but LB is
Leslie Bass.
Leslie Bass, that's her last name. Okay, Leslie Bass accused Katie Joy of sending her fans to strike her channel, and that is the reason for her channel got restricted. She has the email from YouTube to prove it. She refuses to make it public. It tells me she's hiding something.
Yeah, no, that's a truism. She refused to send me that email. She she promised me she would send it. She told me, by the way, I have all these conversations and I will be sharing them probably next month. And I'll be sharing my conversation with her husband and I'll be sharing my conversations with Flossie. Normally I don't do this, but there are reasons because I'm being accused of stealing money. Hell with that. I didn't make anything off that fundraiser. If anything, I made an 18-cent mathematical error. I grant that. Okay. The super chat was $536. The math should have been 375.20. I don't know. I'm not dyslexic, but people know when I type, I do mix up two letters all the time. You can read my Twitter, and I put $375.02. So it's 18 cents off. But you know what? I paid $45 something at 12% interest in taxes on that. So I think I contributed, right? And I even said, if you want 18 cents, I'll send it to you. Just shut the hell up about me. I mean, all she's doing is lying about me at this point, and I haven't said jack shit about her in 4 months, right? We all decided as a community we're not going to talk about these people, but now we're talking as a community. We might have to address it, and we probably will be addressing this in the next couple of weeks. But we're going to be doing it as a community with Kim, with exposing, unveiling the mask, with maybe Lambie, with Cheshire, with Manya, with people that are intricately involved and know what happened. Because we're going to start doing things as a community when these things come up. And so, but like I said, I just want to make a summary. If people want to live in my shadow for 5 fucking more years, because they've already been, some of them have been for 4 years already, go with God. You know what? It doesn't matter to me. Because in the end run, I still have people in my life I care about, and all they are just bottom feeding trolls. That's it. And they're using my name. Go for it. Knock yourself out. I mean, it's great. I mean, I live in fucking red fear in their head, if Heathen says, right? Steve compared himself to Heathen. See that? I know how they think.
And to continue off that, something that Jim brought up before, if anybody considers that like doing this kind of stuff is drama, you really got to think that trying to defend yourself against accusations is something that it's unavoidable. If we as a community never stood up to any accusations ever being made, we would be like the scum of the internet.
Well, people believe
as a
accusations
community.
without evidence on that side of the fence, right? None of those people have any evidence, right? Because they just make shit up. And then when they get called out, and like Leslie lied and she got called out about it. And a lot of her fans are now leaving now. A lot of her subscribers are like, wait a minute here. You said you were going to come back and you're going to show the email and you're going to send the email to somebody and you're going to show your dashboard. She did none of that. And now she's trying to throw me under the bus to cover that up. And her fans and longtime subscribers are going, whoa, wait a minute here. And I called it too. I even said that's going to happen. I even told her husband that. She's going to have a hard time coming back to YouTube. That message I did release because it was from me to somebody else. If I send somebody a message, that's fair game because it's mine. I know. So I sent the message that I sent to Sean, her husband. Hey, she's going to have a hell of a time coming back because she's going to come back, right? And I knew she wasn't going to come back and do nothing. She was going to hoping everybody forgot about it. And now that they haven't, that's why she started it up again. That's why she's like trying to throw me under the bus because she's in a scapegoat because people are realizing she lied. But anyways, we're off topic. We shouldn't be. We're gonna go back. But hey, got a scummer.
Two is that euros again?
It's not funny money. I don't know.
2 Monopoly dollars.
Yeah.
18 cents. You criminal mastermind.
I'm a
Steve.
goddamn genius, right? I mean, I'm a criminal mastermind according to some people. They literally, I'm not even fucking with you. They seriously think that I have some criminal enterprise that I'm sitting around giving like orders to people as a CEO of some kind of troll army. That's paranoia to me. It's just straight up paranoia. I don't know what else you would call it. Now,
Well,
I do that, but it just happened to be a coincidence.
It's how you sell your story to people. The best way to like make the protagonist look good is for them to have like an extremely powerful antagonist to defeat. So if they're the good guy, they're gonna make the bad guy look really big and bad, and then they can look better as the one standing up to that.
Especially when your audience is full of people that are probably not quite mentally competent or have some issues or are paranoid or conspiratorial. They that's all they feed upon, right? Because when you have that kind of show, when you have that kind of channel where you do conspiracy type stuff, and all you got to do is throw it out there and that's it, that's the audience they cultivate. Because I will tell you right now, they're not critical thinkers. They don't ask for evidence. Anybody who's come to me when it came to like the whole non sequitur show, guess what I did? I gave them evidence. It's surprising how many people have actually sided with me. Why? Not because they trusted me. It's because I gave them fucking evidence. Now, there are people that trusted me from the beginning, and I will always remember that. But I still gave them evidence. But anyways, it's Greater British Pounds, by the way.
Oh.
Yes. So I'm going to take
I'll
that 18
remember
cents
that.
and I'm going to divvy it up between all my fans. And we're going to all retire in Hawaii or Cancun, and we're going to be sipping on pina coladas on the beach. I mean, that 18 cents. Hey, and 18 cents in some countries is like a millionaire, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it won't get you very far in Hawaii or Cancun.
Yeah, not Hawaii. Hawaii's expensive. Wow.
Well,
No
sure,
joke.
Canada.
Everything is expensive in Hawaii because it's all imported mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But anyways, let's get back to the halftime of the month thing. So, I don't want to do this for very long. I was supposed to have somebody come on later on today. We're going to see if that does. Her name's Autumn. If not, I'll postpone it. What do you guys want to wrap up on this? I mean, again, I think that there's not a lot of stuff to talk about with the halftime of the month because what they said, all they have to know is we support them. And all we have to tell people is, look, they felt like they were in danger. That's all that matters.
I think they said everything that needed to be said. I agree with them wholeheartedly, and I've told them as much. With Steve, I stand behind all the women in this community 100%.
And then, by the way, I haven't forgotten about my Alea Moon. I love her too. So.
Oh, men too. I'm not one of
No, Alea Moon.
Yep.
Fuck you guys. Men don't matter to shit to me.
Oh, yeah.
I am a sexist bastard, man. I'm just women. Yeah, men, you're on your own. No, I'm kidding. I am one of those people. I think equal opportunity kind of things, right? But it is, to me, I was raised old fashioned. I was that guy that pulls out chair, for women on a date kind of stuff. And people call that gallantry or old fashioned. Some people call it misogynistic. Some people will call it, they call it, what do they say? Enforcing the patriarchy. I don't know, whatever. Tacit sexism. That's the way I was raised. Treat women with respect. And when a woman is telling you that they will not be in the same room with you because they think you might harm them, I would take that very seriously because on average, men tend to be able to defend themselves better. This is statistical fact. It's not sexism. Men are physically usually larger, more powerful, and are. But by the way, I'll tell you this: women that will be aggressive, they'll kick the shit out of you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They don't fight fair.
Don't mess. Yeah, don't mess with a woman that's willing to be aggressive, right? Like that. You're going to lose. But on average, men usually are the more physically powerful ones. And yes, a woman should take a threat like that very seriously. Absolutely, right? And somebody's going to twist and go, look, Steve's saying men can't be abused. No, that's not what I'm saying, obviously. But somebody's going to run with that. They always do. But, all right, Helix, what do you got? What do you got?
My comment is more along the lines of reaffirming one of the things that they said. If you're going to begin saying, oh, it's your tone and stuff like that, as your defense on why you're being an asshole to someone, like you didn't like their tone, grow thicker skin. That's not an excuse to get aggressive. Especially if it's a critique. A critique on you is
These are words.
Always going to be a bit aggressive. It's always going to be them specifically bringing up what you did wrong, because that's the point of a critique. You can't get all upset when someone points out you did a shit job when you did a shit job.
And Nikki's like, I'm trans. I'm technically both. she's like, I'm trans. I'm technically both. I'll fuck you up twice. I would never want to piss Nikki off. She's amazing. But I would, yeah, just, yeah.
I stalk her though, so.
You stalk everybody. It's okay though. They're like the community stalker, you know.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody's got to have a hobby, right?
I think I know. I mean, that's not what I wanted to end this on. I think that there was something that we should say before we stop. And that is,
go ahead.
What advice we could give to Jim now.
I'll go and then you guys can wrap it up. My advice to Jim, pull your head out of your ass. You're a Marine. You have 4 black belts. A 4'11" woman saying words to you should not be triggering. But if it is, then maybe you should be doing something else. Because I respect the fact that he has PTSD. Absolutely. I would never use that as a weapon. Anybody who ever uses that as a weapon against somebody, you're a piece of shit. And anybody who uses that as a weapon as saying that I've used it as a weapon is a piece of shit. Right? Because I would never use that as a weapon against Jim or anybody else. But Jim, these are conversations. And if you want people to respect your PTSD, which damn well they should, you got to also respect the fact that they really felt intimidated by you, that if they were ever in the same room with you, and one of them has been, and the other one might actually one day be, they have every right to feel like they're physically in danger because you've put it that way. You've made a hostile situation. And they've addressed it, and I've addressed it with you prior. I typed it all out, and he's like, well, why did you not come to me in private? I'm like, he's been making everything public. He made everything about Chesh and Sweet and Manya and anybody else public, right? And I tried to do it initially private. I was told, look, you know, you got to do it in public or else it's kind of hollow because, you know, he's doing it in public. And Cheshire and Sweet and all of them were right about that. Absolutely right. They, you know, and that's why I went public. I had no choice. Because he had made it public. And so I left these comments, and that wasn't good enough. And he's instead of saying, look, here's a person that I supposedly calling brother that's telling me I fucked up, and especially after I've sucked off his enemies, that I can't apologize to people that he cares about for them feeling like they're scared and intimidated and threatened by me? Wake up, man. That's just unimaginable to me. Unimaginable to me. That's my last word. Oh, we'll end on something else, but no offense, but only like three seconds. But yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Helios. I'll go last.
Okay. On the idea of giving advice to him, saying you're sorry is easy. Saying you're sorry in private so you can save face is not only easy and hollow, it's pointless. You need to make amends, dude. Not just give empty words. I have a few ideas on how you could do that, but if I were to tell you, that would invalidate the purpose of doing them in the first place. So, think about it, and do the right thing. Really easy.
And Jim, I know I've talked at you directly through videos before, and none of that advice has ever changed. However, I think that if you want to try to make excuses for why you did something, all of that you can do that, but you do that after you apologize. You don't do it instead of apologizing. Nobody cares why you hurt people, and if you're not sorry for it, if you keep making excuses for it and pushing it onto other people, then there's no reason to believe that it won't happen again. You're not learning from it. You're saying that you are the like if you keep you actually double down on the fact that if you're in the room, violent things can happen. I don't understand how you think that people should now just be comfortable being around you at all. It's amazing to me. And so yeah, if you want, I'll even be willing to help him with ideas. I have not blocked you. Everybody else has, but I will hold my breath and I will let everybody know that you contacted me if you do. So, because I promised I would, just because I know that you won't. And to finish, Keon agrees with you.
We're gonna end on that. Actually, we got a super chat though.
Okay, failed engineering. Neil on $10. They have the right to have a gut reaction to your behavior. Whoever else was your intended target. Wait, let me read that. I think I messed that up. I got ahead of myself. They have a right to have a gut reaction to your behavior. Whoever else was your intended target. And what would happen if another woman used the tone Chesh did, if tone is what it all takes.
Yeah, well, basically that tone could get you smacked and lose teeth and drink through a straw, apparently. But okay, we're going to end this. I'm going to leave it on what Mr. Sirius said. Hey, Jim, when Keon agrees with you, you're objectively in the wrong. Because it's an objective fact of the universe. This is a fact of the universe. If you ever want to know the right course of action, go read what Keon thinks and do the opposite. Because he is 100% wrong every single freaking time without fail. It is the best form of ethics and education in the world. He is the greatest thing to have happened in society ever because he's an oracle. If you want to know what to do, go find out what Keon thinks, who's been talking to you, and do the opposite. Good night.
Good night.